So, good morning. It's Sunday and it's 7:30 a.m. I've got on the road early because we're heading from the north of Masbate Island to the south to Mintak port to get a ferry across direct to northern Cebu to a port called Bogo. And the sat-nav tells us it's going to be roughly 2 hours just over, but the locals and conditions of the road say otherwise, and the ferry departs at midday allegedly, so we want to get there with at least an hour or more to spare. So we're on the road early. It's a nice sunny day today, and which makes a bit of a difference to our attitude. The staff at the hotel last night were absolutely brilliant, couldn't do enough for us. We had a very late booking, and they hadn't had any people staying there for quite a while because of the recovery from COVID and the typhoon and stuff, and they treated us like royalty. Even took us personally down to the local restaurant, Chinese restaurant, which was run by the Chinese guy that runs the hotel as well. And basically we did have a bit of a giggle because the guy said, "No problem sir, follow me." So he then, dressed in black, got on a black motorcycle with no lights and sped off into the distance. Follow him, we couldn't even see him. So eventually we did catch up with him, find him, but that was just classic Philippines. So time to show you some views. Very beautiful looking island from what we can see. Not been affected by Typhoon Odette as much as my island because we have trees here still, and all this towards the coast of Anda is basically decimated and gone. Just looks like open fields now in Bohol, but here this is what Bohol used to look like before Odette. Hardware stores here. The Saturday market, or Sunday, or spotted. So we decided to check out the Montenegro line, and it said it was going from Katangan port, which we just arrived at. No ferries leave from here. And they said, oh, it's the other Katangan port, in effect Mintak. Well, that's not Katangan, then that's Mintak. No, it's Katangan Mintak. See where I'm coming from? So here we are, coming into Mintak port. Very beautiful looking area, and we are on time according to the sat-nav. It's only taken us just over a couple of hours, so we've got plenty of time to work out what ferry to catch. Hopefully today things will be a little bit more smoother, a bit more professional than yesterday. Getting good vibes about this one. So let's see, but just look at this area. This is beautiful. Yeah. It's like living inside the Eden Project. The timetables were displayed with prices, but they weren't really that much use because they didn't seem to mean that much. Easy to ask. Well, we're at the port. We went into the booking office and we wanted the midday ferry, but they said unfortunately it's already full. So the next one was going to be at 6 p.m, but it wasn't going to get into Bogo in Cebu until 4 a.m, which basically was going to throw our plans back by about a day. But we had no choice, so we paid the fare, got our tickets, decided to buy a bottle of Coke while we were here, just chatting and stuff, and next minute one of the girls came out to us and said, you know, sir, can you come back to the window? And basically, cut long story short, she said they've made a space for us on the midday ferry, and it's no problem. That one gets in about 6 p.m. on Sunday today, same day. So everything's back on track there. The reason they gave us the ferry time was basically, this ticket was basically because we were polite and talked nicely to them and joked around, and that was the reason they gave for actually making a space. They said they liked us and they liked the banter we had, etc. So yeah, the only problem is Chris is having to marry one of them on Monday. Joke. But it just goes to show that being open and friendly, we could have just done the opposite and got angry and said, but everybody said your times the ferries were this, etc, etc, but we didn't. We just stayed calm and took it on face value. So anyway, we've been for a little drive for an hour, had a burger and a mango float, like a mango shake, and basically we're now back at the ferry terminal waiting to be called up to board. Maybe an hour or so. It's only 11 AM yet. We can't see the ferry, so yeah, so hopefully things will go back on schedule now. Our car needs a bath as soon as I get back, so our first job to wash. So on board the ferry back to the north of Cebu. Hope somebody's got a chicken on board. Didn't expect to hear that. So I've just been allowed to walk right down through the loading deck to get my papers I forgot. But I'm okay, I can look after my own health and safety. Smile, guys. Big smile for the camera, come on. So what seems apparent is that they've overbooked on the number of lorries and vehicles. They've got to try and get on this small boat because we were the last car, as I said earlier, to be able to get on. They said they could squeeze us on. It seems like that is the case at the expense of some of the bigger lorries. So I don't know how they're going to do this, but we should have left at midday. It's now 3:30, and when we said to somebody, when do you think we will be departing, he said maybe 5 p.m. It's crazy. The boat didn't actually arrive till midday. So, and instead of putting everything they were offloading into a trailer, they had 45 guys hand walking oil barrels, goods, roofing, etc. And we asked them, why do you not use the forklift trucks you have there? Apparently they're both broken and they've been waiting 7 months for parts. This is another issue in the Philippines rural areas and must be pretty extreme in this particular island of Masbate, because as you can see from the map I shall put up shortly, it is quite isolated. Our location is the blue dot, and I'm heading down to my final destination, which is a little flag. Well, the canteen on board had a good selection of meals. I sent the menu to my wife and she told me it meant basically something meal. So the only problem was they only had 2 out of the 12 things on stock. So I had the boneless bangus, which was very nice, but my friend Chris asked 3 different meals, and each time they come back after 20 minutes it wasn't available, which basically made him lose his raglan. But 2 hours I don't blame him. Mega late at 5 p.m. and we got as far as, I don't know, maybe a mile outside the port, and and all of a sudden we went round in circles a few times, then came to a grinding halt. And apparently there's been a steering gear failure, which we've heard, because nobody's told us anything, that they can fix. We did start moving again about 25 minutes ago, but then stopped after a few minutes, so I'm assuming they didn't fix it at that time. But we've literally still got 5 hours to go, so we've got engines but no steering. So I can still see where we came from, which is over there. I don't know if it's possible to see it. So I'm just hoping they can fix and we'll be on our way soon. But this last part of the journey is turning into a complete and utter nightmare and joke. Well, we broke down yet again, and we'd left the port of Katangan further up, as you can see, and our location was where the blue dot is now. Not exactly. I think they fixed it this time. They tried before and stopped, but now it's been working for 5 minutes. So hopefully now we will go on our way to Cebu. So a quick update. In the last 5 minutes since the last video, we've suddenly on the move again. We've done 2 left and 2 right turns, and now we're steaming ahead at what seems to be full power. So hopefully now it's fixed and we're finally on our way to North Cebu. I'll show you the view. It's so good to see us on the move. Let's hope no more dramas. But what we didn't know is that he'd turned around and decided at the 3rd attempt was going to head back to port, which was basically another 3 hours, I think, added to our journey in total. We've been floating around. We were heading to the bit, you can see the landmass further down, like the long, thin, pointy bit. So we were just heading back to where we started after all this time. So after what seemed like a god-awful long time, maybe another 2 hours or so, we were unloaded at the port, and they said they were going to put us on another ferry, which was a commercial freight ferry back. And we got talking to some of the other guys and drivers, and a little bit of, like, you know, joined up camaraderie, shall we say. So finally loaded onto this barge, but we were told it was 8 hours on this because it was so slow. What could we do apart from just settle down, sit in the car? So they're getting as many people as they can on the barge type ferry. We're told it's going to take 8 hours, but at least we're going to be getting back to Cebu. And I think I'll use the words God willing, all this shit that's happened, but I do not recommend the KHO line. If anybody's watching this and wondering which way, try and do the same journey. finally at Bogo Port at around 6 AM. We were first to offload. Still dark, there's no point taking any video. So since then I've driven down alone for the last part of the journey down to Cebu City. I'm all checked in and bought my ticket to go to Tubigon on the car ferry at 1 PM. So it's now only 9:15, so I've got a little bit of time, and maybe grab some things in one of the local shops. So there's the terminal behind for the passengers. I'm assuming the ferry comes in on this bit. I'm just to the park up here. So nearly there. Only taken 4 days.